Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla, said earlier this year that the company had an ambitious goal to sell 20 million electric cars a year over the next 10 years. However, the availability of nickel, the raw material needed to make batteries for electric vehicles, is a major factor in this strategy to greatly increase manufacturing. The biggest output gap in at least 10 years occurred last year when worldwide nickel usage surged by an astonishing 16.2% due to increasing demand for the metal from EV automakers. This was the cause of the 168,000-ton supply shortage. And Tesla's ramping up plans have not yet been hindered by that severe scarcity of supplies. Elon Musk has, however, discovered a way around the supply shortfall. But what was his method? Is his strategy workable? You might be surprised by the response. As a leader in the provision of low-carbon emission nickel that conforms with environmental, social, and governance requirements, Flying Nickel is among the most environmentally conscious nickel mining enterprises in the world. Due to the fact that nickel is an essential component of lithium-ion batteries, some of the batteries used in Tesla electric vehicles now include 80% nickel. It increases energy density and strengthens the cathode of a battery's energy storage, which increases an electric vehicle's range. But since Class 1 nickel needs to be at least 99.8% pure, not all nickel can be used in EV batteries. However, not all batteries, especially those manufactured in China, use nickel. But because Tesla is a major player in the EV market and was the first to produce EVs on such a massive scale, its plans to ramp up have depended heavily on the availability of nickel. Therefore, Elon Musk called on miners to increase their output of nickel and even asserted that the electric vehicle manufacturer would award large contracts to companies that could mine nickel effectively and sustainably. The wealthy businessman's comment was motivated by the fact that there has been a disturbance in the global supply chain in addition to the rising demand for nickel. For instance, over 16% of the world's high-grade nickel comes from Russia. There have been worries that the current hostilities sanctions will have an impact on shipments from companies like Norilsk Nickel, the world's largest producer of high-grade nickel, to other countries after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Not to add, worries about supply shortages during the war have driven the price of nickel to all-time highs. Since then, since nobody can predict when the shortage of nickel would end, Tesla has been making an effort to remain ahead of the game. In order to achieve this, Tesla has formed partnerships with nickel mines in the United States, Canada, Australia, New Caledonia, and even Indonesia. However, according to Elon Musk, the output in the United States is objectively very lame. Tesla and the multinational company BHP Group inked a nickel supply arrangement last year, with the latter intending to provide the electric vehicle manufacturer with the metal from its Nickel West plant in Australia. Additionally, the consortium has stated that they will be providing Tesla with nickel sulfate, a crucial battery ingredient with substantially greater margins than nickel metal. Additionally, Elon Musk was able to secure a crucial U.S. source of nickel for Tesla's battery facilities in Nevada and Texas when the company selected Talon Metals Corp.'s Tamarack Mine project in Minnesota earlier this year, marking the signing of Tesla's first U.S. nickel supply deal. The EV behemoth intends to purchase lesser quantities of cobalt and iron ore at London Metal Exchange published pricing, as well as 75,000 tons of nickel concentrate over the course of 6 years. Furthermore, Tesla agreed to purchase nickel from Swiss commodity broker Trafigura in an effort to guarantee supply security. In addition, the enormous Brazilian nickel miner Vale became one of the several partners who had long-term agreements with Tesla to provide nickel. They inked a massive deal to provide Tesla with the metal that their company's mining operations in Canada produced 76,000 tons of last year. The deal states that Vale will provide Tesla with low-carbon Class 1 nickel from Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada. According to reports, this nickel facility has a carbon footprint of 4.4 tons of CO2 equivalent per ton of nickel, which is around one-third of the average for Class 1 nickel reported by the Nickel Institute. Fundamentally, Tesla wants to diversify its material sources as much as possible to offset growing prices in the face of fast-increasing demand. This is the driving force behind the EV maker's multiple international trade agreements. Analysts estimate that 60% of the world's nickel mines are held by Chinese companies, and over 80% of the world's nickel processing is centered in China. As a result, they are making an effort to depend less on Chinese businesses that have long been their main source of refined nickel, including Huayu Hunan CNGR and Jinzhou CNGR. Elon Musk has discovered a different supplier for the EV automaker's batteries, which is Indonesia, the biggest nickel manufacturer in the world. According to the International Nickel Study Group, Indonesia was estimated to have mined 4.4% more nickel last year, with the nation's output of 1.04 million tons accounting for nearly 40% of global supply. The U.S. Geological Survey states that the country in Southeast Asia possesses 23.7% of the world's nickel reserves. The announcement came from the Indonesian government that Tesla has committed to purchasing $5 billion worth of nickel products from the nation in Southeast Asia over the next 5 years. A cabinet minister in the country even hinted that since they are still in continuous talks with the electric vehicle manufacturer, Tesla might be able to purchase even more. In any case, considering that Indonesia has positioned itself as the primary beneficiary of this battery boom, one cannot help but be impressed by the collaboration. Furthermore, a lot of mining corporations in Indonesia are utilizing cutting-edge processing methods to transform low-grade ore from the nation into something that may be utilized by a high-performance lithium-ion battery. Additionally, the electric vehicle manufacturer is getting into an agreement that will totally exclude them from any extraction process because Tesla is purchasing nickel products rather than nickel ore itself. Although upgrading low-grade nickel for use in high-performance lithium-ion batteries is an extremely energy-intensive process, so this might seem like a great deal for Tesla, there are reasons to believe that it might go against Elon Musk's 2020 promise to award massive contracts to companies that can mine nickel effectively and sustainably. On the other hand, do you believe that Tesla, with all of these international alliances, will be able to avoid the nickel shortage? Do you think the Indonesian supply will be sustainable in terms of the environment? Kindly leave your comments below with your opinions. Even while EV automakers have already started to raise their costs to cover the commodity pricing of batteries, there is no denying that Tesla is devoted to cutting the cost of creating their cars. Additionally, unless Tesla can find a solution, consumers will surely be negatively impacted by the current explosive increase in the price of nickel. For now, though, investors can be confident that nickel is in high demand and that Tesla is a great stock to buy, given that, as CEO Elon Musk stated in a tweet earlier this year, nickel is our biggest concern for scaling lithium-ion cell production. There are plenty of reasons to think that nickel is currently a better investment than Tesla stock, especially since he made it apparent that any producer of environmentally friendly nickel is worthy of a sizable contract from the business. For instance, Flying Nickel is one of the most ecologically conscious nickel mining firms in the world, since they are setting the standard for providing nickel with minimal carbon emissions that meets with social, governance, and environmental criteria. The nickel reserves held by the Canadian Mining Corporation are enough to make about 10 million Tesla Model 3 cars nickel-free. In the Thompson Nickel Belt, the second largest nickel camp in Canada with over 5 billion pounds of historical nickel output, they are developing their 100% owned Manago nickel project. Not to add, their nickel has an amazing purity level of 0.4%, which demonstrates a major competitive edge over the 0.3% purity of the nickel grades of their closest competitor, which is all that Elon Musk urges potential investors to think about when making an investment in nickel mining firms. Additionally, CEO Rob Van Drunen states that Flying Nickel has a considerable advantage over North American greenfield nickel projects, as it is expected to finish the FSS and obtain full approved status in 2022. The company's recent $8.6 million equity offering provides all of the funding needed for its work program through 2022. Hence, they have a major cost competitive advantage, making their stock an outstanding nickel stock option to invest in right now. This is due to their location, feasibility study, MOO with partners, and the fact that their Manago nickel project is in the top 1% of low carbon footprint projects. All we can do, though, is hope that Elon Musk's recently found source of nickel for Tesla batteries will be sufficient to meet the EV giant's target of selling 20 million electric vehicles annually as soon as possible by producing enough nickel in an efficient and environmentally friendly manner. If you believe in Elon Musk and Tesla, please subscribe.